right, you started this time.
Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to May. My name is Christa of Practical Astros, and I'm here with Mandi Ray. Hi, Mandi.
Hello, Mandi Ray. I'm
Mandi.
Mandi Ray today. That's how the Southern people say it here. How are you, Christa? You doing good?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
The audience wants to know.
We're in the middle of a drought, and I'm really hoping that we get some rain because I have a lot of flowers that really want to bloom. So that's kind of what May is my birth month, so I have a preference for it. But I do love flowers. I grow flowers. I love to smell flowers. I love pollinators. Flowers are my absolute favorite thing, but we need some rain. So knock on wood, we get some rain in the next couple of days.
Yep, I feel you. I don't have any blueberries on my blueberry bushes. I'm sad. Yet. I know. I'm looking at them. I'm like, you guys look really sad. I need water. Hopefully we get it. That's why I'm manifesting with my flower shirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's bad drought here too, by the way. So me and Christa are both in the Southeast. And, you know, that's a really good segue because we have so much in fire right now. Yes. We have Mercury, Mars, Saturn, all hovering at like 8-9 degrees, Neptune at 2 and Chiron at 26. So thankfully the sun's in Taurus. Not that I have anything against Aries, but we're recording this April 21st and the moon's about to go into Cancer. So we'll see if our voices change or something weird. That'd be cool.
Yeah, if we just spontaneously start crying and be like, that's moon Cancer moment.
Who knows? I might.
Why not? I mean,
look at the world. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I saw this guy, I don't know, all these looks maxing guys, you know, and one of them was talking about how he cries so he can put it on his hair because it's like sea salt water. It's like,
bless.
Oh, you gotta be a Cancer rising. You have to be.
Man.
Like, that's hilarious. I was like, that is the craziest thing ever.
Or Pisces. I could see Pisces doing that.
Could see Pisces as well. Yeah. I could see Pisces as well.
Multitasking your grief.
Oh, man. So this is May.
Hello, May.
Starts and ends with a full moon.
I like that. I mean, I think that's extra cute. I think that happened last year for May. I need to go back and look. Actually, let's just look and see because the moon exalts in Taurus, and just the fact that the moon is full on either end. It's like Taurus has this reputation of being of the earth and being I was reading last night, Vedius Valens calls Taurus the most acquisitional sign of the zodiac. It's basically like the seagulls in Finding Nemo were like, mine. It's like everything that Taurus touches, they just want to consume. But it's just the way that we integrate information is by having it be ours. We're good stewards of things. We're good collectors / hoarders of things, you know, so it's just a matter of that earthy consumption. But the moon is really happy here. And so the fact that the full moon kind of bookends each day at the beginning of May and the end of May, even though we'll be in Gemini at the end of May, it just feels like a nice, fat, fecund, bloated, luxurious, gluttonous, you know, totally saturated Taurus season that maybe we're just digesting all of the things that were stirred up in Aries, because when the sun was in Aries and the Mercury, you know, moved in, it was just such a packed Aries house. You know, a lot of people were talking a lot about Aries for good reason. The sun is out, so it's kind of like relieved a little bit of that Aries intensity. But now we get the lunar intensity with having the full moon in Scorpio and then the full moon in Sag.
Yeah, and for the last 2 days of Sun in Taurus, Venus will be in Cancer too. That 2 days will be kind of, like you said, just really fat. I feel like Cancer also loves to nurture. And I was thinking about how the tree, I have a lot of baby oak trees in my front yard. And I was like, oh, wow, the earth is the placenta. Oh, that's cool. That's really neat. You know, like just having weird thoughts like that. It's a very Cancerian Sun and Taurus kind of thought, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to those couple of days. That's going to be the 18th and 19th. We got a lot going on. Even if it doesn't look like it here, the 10th through the 13th, there's some sextiles. It's a full month. It's a full packed transit month, you know?
Yeah. 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 So let's look at the chart for the full moon in Scorpio to pitch us off.
Got you. All right. Let me pull it up. There we go. So here it is. Sun at the top of the sky. That's at 12:23 p.m. That's how you know it's around noon, is because the sun's at the top of the chart. And I don't have this particular one set to Aries rising, which I'll do here in a minute, so that it makes it easier for us to follow the planets. But I do like this chart as it is going to be. I just wanted to look at it like here in Birmingham, Alabama, Leo will be rising, sun's in Taurus. Those simple things can help you learn the astronomy of astrology. And I love that part of astrology.
Yeah.
To know that, like, I know it's a last quarter square and to know what the moon looks like and where it is in relation to the sun and things like that. It's just, I really love that. Yeah. So yeah, this full moon's midday. We won't get to see it at its fullness here in the US. That's going to be on the other side of the globe.
But the night before, you know, it'll be nice and chunky.
It will.
Thursday night.
And I'm not so much looking forward to this one.
Tell me.
I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I was like, oh man, Mars is the ruler. Mars is in Aries. And then you got Mercury, Chiron. It just seems like it could be a little ouchy. The moon is uncomfortable in Scorpio anyway, you know, so a full moon there with, you know, Mars being the primary ruler and it doesn't answer to anything else but itself, you know, is a little hot, you know, it's hot water.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I could see it like the Chiron Mercury is like speaking, like giving name to what is causing the pain. And then the light, that compassionate light of a Taurus sun onto the kind of devouring nature of a Scorpio moon. And with Mars being at home in the sun's decan, you know, the moon being in the sun's decan, like just really that illumination of it all. It's like we might just really talk about all the things that are just under our skin or have come to a head or just the pressure has become too much and we need to tower it all down. You know, I think ouchy is an appropriate one because it might be exactly what is needed too. You know, it's like if it has built up, the beauty of the tower card in Tarot is that it just helps disseminate what has outgrown its current form. So talking about it, you know, maybe being pushed into talking about it because of that Chiron pain, you know, point would be the ouchy part. But then that's what you need to kind of release that energy. It doesn't do you any good to keep it pent up. I imagine that not keeping things bottled up will be kind of a theme for that weekend.
Yeah, because Scorpio is pretty private usually. You know, it can be a very like just inner work sort of sign. And it does almost feel like we're forced to talk about something.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I was thinking the same thing. And we're recording this before Uranus has entered Gemini. So I do kind of want to say that because I feel like who knows what might happen in the next week, because that is what's happening in the next week for us when we're recording this. But the Venus meeting with Uranus will happen right thereafter it, or no, before it. And then they both move into Gemini. So it's almost like Mercury and Chiron are speaking to that a little as well. But we could be looking at both Aries and Gemini houses, I feel like. So just things that I was thinking. I like that Jupiter's in Cancer and it's the moon's on its way to a trine with that. So it might not be too long lived. It's like a pressure release. I feel like it's going to be. That's a really good way to look at it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and open that valve. Have you ever used an Instant Pot?
You know, I got an Instant Pot a couple of years ago, and then I was always freaked out to use it. And so I did like the trial run of just water, and that was okay. But then I was actually too scared to use it. And then like a year into it, I received all of this panic notification, like that I needed to return it because that lot number had malfunctioned and it would have blown off had I actually used it.
God.
It was like,
God.
I totally knew not to use it. So I have one, but I just roast potatoes and I don't use the Instapot version of it,
Oh man. I use mine all the time. And the most fun part is the pressure release when the steam comes out. It comes out at such force. It's crazy. And I just kind of watch it. I'm like, whoa, that is the coolest thing. But that's what this is, like an Instant Pot moment, but hopefully not the wrong lot number Instant Pot.
Yeah. I just knew,
Intuition. Always listen to it. Always. So it starts off with a bang or a hopefully not a bang. It starts off with it's intense. I will say that because just prior to this, Moon squared Pluto too. The Sun has squared Pluto a week before that. So there's some things building up to this full moon, and the new moon prior to it.
The one we just experienced in Aries,
is in Aries. So this is like the answer to that new moon. It's the culmination of that new moon too. So it's bringing all that Aries. It's really, really concentrated up here. Aries, Taurus, Gemini.
Yeah, I think there might be a desire to go out and like go to a party or go to a show, go congregate. I mean, like Venus will be with Uranus there in Gemini, and it's connecting to Aries, which is kind of like amping it up a little bit. But the new moon in Aries is at that 27th degree, which is where Chiron and Mercury are now. So I do think it will speak to that. But I think there might be this desire of like, just like, F it, I'm just going to go out. I'm just going to go out. I just feel like getting out of the house.
Turn my location off so no one can find me, but I'm going somewhere.
Yeah.
I've done that before when I've been mad at people. Yeah, for real. Like I got mad at my husband one time and I turned off my location and just went somewhere. I was just like, and then he was like, "Where are you?" I was like, "You can't tell, can you?" You don't know. That's really Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio, so there you go.
Yeah.
That's the Scorpio part.
Yeah, it's like the Schrodinger's cat, it behaves differently when it's observed. And we do, like, we there's like that beauty of putting a mask on, because then you can perform as a different version of yourself. And to have that anonymity, or the anonymity liberates you to just be freer. And to me, like, I hope that Uranus and Gemini is really what helps us liberate ourselves of our own ideas of ourselves, of what we can be, instead of feeling like we should be stuck or consistent or steady. Like, have fun and be playful and be gamely with this Uranus and Gemini transit. And with Venus there, I just think that it might just give us that desire to just want to pick up and go to some random part of town to a different restaurant or store or meetup or whatever it is, just to try something new, break out of our old routine. Maybe that brings up some pain with that Mercury Chiron, but maybe we need it.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I've been saying for a long time, just speaking to Chiron, I think the Chiron moving into Aries has been a lot about identity. I mean, that's when it got really big with the use of pronouns. That was a really big thing in the, I guess, the public sphere for a long time. And so this ending of Chiron in Aries is almost like, who are you? Did you figure it out yet?
Yeah.
I mean, Aries is so related to identity and independence and autonomy and authenticity and survival and just being, so I think this, especially with the Uranus and Gemini ingress, because Gemini and Aries sextile each other. So they kind of work hand in hand in that way. So it's going to be a very interesting night. I try not to say interesting too much.
Yeah, put a dollar in the jar. Interesting.
Oh, May 1st. All right, what's next on the list? I can't remember. Let's see. Okay, so the moon goes into Sagittarius on Sunday, and then on Monday the 4th, May the 4th be with you, Mars in Aries squares Jupiter in Cancer. And my emoji is because I think this could turn out very differently for different people. Not that all transits don't, but this is just, I think this one's going to be very based on if you have cardinal placements or not, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at that.
So when I'm looking to see,
make this 0 area. Let's calculate. Okay, Mars square Jupiter.
I was looking to see what they did last time. It was in September, and Jupiter was direct, and Mars was in Libra, which is a different condition of Mars than it is when it's in.
When did Mars oppose it? January in Capricorn, and it squared it in Libra. And then when did it conjoin it? Let's see. Okay, so this is coming from the Jupiter and Gemini territory.
Mm-hmm.
This is the closing square to it. So that's where my north node's 16 degrees Gemini. Oh, well, and that's something. So cool. All right. So the reason we look back at this is because it's almost like the moon cycle. If you don't know, the new moon, then you have the first quarter square, then you have the opposition, and then you have the last quarter square, and then the conjunction again. So it's like that. So we're coming into the last quarter square of Mars and Jupiter, and in different signs when they first conjoined, which, it was all cardinal after that. And this is the last square until it conjoins again November in Leo.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So let's go back to the square.
Well, and that's right on my north node. Weird.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
now you know why we do this podcast together.
25 of 4.
Oh man. Oh yeah, that's square my sun. Cool.
Yes, same.
Yeah,
so we have synastry or something, Mandy.
Yes, it's like our charts work together in some way. And we do have a lot. So Mars square Jupiter in cardinal signs. This is the reason I said it's probably going to be very strong for cardinal people. I'm a Cancer rising. If you have Aries, Capricorn, or Libra as well, this squares, because it's the closing square. I mean, I feel like it's Mars wants to exert force, going into the conjunction, it's like, I've learned all of this and now I'm claiming something, but I think it could be a frustrating day or it could be a good day. You could be filled with motivation, you know?
Yeah, the way that I describe it to people is imagine this is like the roof of a round building. And so then you kind of land where Mars is. So you're landing in Mars, you're at 19 degrees Aries, and now you're looking towards the center of the chart. When you have a planet that's to your right, your energy is aspecting to, or you're putting upon the one on your right. So Mars is applying to Jupiter. So Mars kind of has the upper hand. It's able to throw the first punch or kind of direct the conversation. So while Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, Mars is at home, but Mars is at home and is applying to Jupiter. So I do feel like it'll be that push, that 19 degree, which is, I think, the sun's exaltation degree in Aries. It's there's a real powerful Mars, putting upon that Jupiter. But I think it can be a real, spunky and productive, or not productive, because that has such a capitalist undertone. It's like you can produce something of value for yourself, not something that is quantifiable to other people. Maybe it's but within Aries Cancer, there's just this really spunky tension, and Mars is the one kind of calling the shots, being in that superior position and applying that square, which is the nature of Mars, to really boost that Jupiter. That's how I look at it. It's kind of like having a really powerful friend that just pushes you to grow. That's how Mars feels onto that Jupiter. I like it. It's just going to be real spicy to me, a real just cause for change, sort of a moment.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And Jupiter's in its sign of exaltation. Mars is at home. So they're both pretty powerful here,
Yeah.
And it's when you interact with something like Jupiter, when any planet does, it expands whatever it is. So it's going to be more Marsy, and the moon and Jupiter in mutual reception. So it's going to be ultra Marsy, ultra fire, and ultra water. And I think the Sag moon does add to that spunkiness, So passion comes to mind, big love, big desire, stuff like that.
Yeah. I just saw that Mercury and Venus are in mutual reception as well.
Oh, yeah. They sure are.
Mercury goes so quick, so does Venus. That it's hard to catch that sometimes. But
yeah, they're running away right now. It really feels like that. Oh, man. And then the very next day is Mercury square Pluto. So we could go ahead and look at that. Which I find like the succession of two squares to be kind of tense. That part's a little tense. It's like you got Mars square Jupiter, then boom, Mercury square Pluto. While Mars is still within, it's within 30
half a degree,
30 minutes, half a
30 degree, minutes,
of the square. So you almost have two squares happening at the same time. And Mercury Pluto is a lot more wrestly, I think, than Mars square Jupiter, which you might find funny because Mars is so active, but Pluto and Mercury seem to wrestle when they interact in a square. Mercury wants to empower itself, and it's the opening square. So let me look at when did it conjoin Pluto. Might as well, since we're looking at that stuff.
I mean, January.
In Aquarius. Yeah. So that's the last interaction. It's like it got the message and now it's testing itself from a different place,
This is the beta test.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh, you think you want to be different. You think you want this utopia. You think you love AI. Well, then Mercury moves into Taurus and squares it and goes, are those really your values? Is that really what you believe? So
or even the systems, if we think about the systems that you set up for from your Aquarius and Pisces or Aquarius and Taurus houses, because I like systems of order, like communication systems or value systems or whatever it is, but just the structure is really put to the test. Are these your personal boundaries? Are these the ways that you want to communicate with your coworkers or whatever it is? But the challenge might come through the systems that you've been trying on, for the past couple of months. Is this the routine I want for my day? Or is this the way I want to communicate with these people? Or is this, even just the bank that I want to use? If you open up a new bank account in January and you don't like the way that their app works or something, it's this is kind of putting it to the test and communicating that, so that you can work through the kinks, so that when Mercury goes into Gemini later the same month, there'll be a trine, there'll be a flow. It's work through the kinks so that Mercury, when it's in a much better position in Gemini, can then flow to Pluto and really tap into the power plug that Pluto is.
I love that. I got chills too. Well, I don't know why I got really cold when we were talking about that when I was listening to you. I was like, why am I so cold? It's because Pluto is very cold, I think, especially in Aquarius. But yeah, that's a really good way to put it. And you could even look at that in the macro, with the systems we have, how does it support this new world? And then with the mutual reception of Venus and Mercury, Venus has just met with Uranus, which is shaking it up in Gemini. So, Mercury has some big questions here. It's fast. Luckily, it won't last super long. But it is that's a place you're going to want to be introspective. That's what I'm getting at. I think Taurus is such an introspective sign. I think very internal, personal sign, and Pluto is a very internal planet, not necessarily personal, but internal. So, that's a self-examination day, especially after the Mars square Jupiter. what did you do the day before? What did you do?
Yeah. And I think that Mercury being in Taurus, because Mercury can communicate with whatever avenue it has. And so, Taurus being that earthy place is, and I wrote about this on my Decan walk for Taurus 1, so it's like fresh on the mind, but baking, making food, putting food up, planting a garden, planting flowers, making medicine, going swimming in a creek, building a sandcastle. It's just like Mercury, you can not have a podcast or music playing, have your hands in the dirt and have like a really good conversation with yourself. It doesn't have to be, like writing on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be that kind of introspection. It can be like if your body is sweating or moving or submerged in the forest or in the ocean, that's where Taurus is happiest, is like to somatically process information. And maybe by doing something that is like, I like going to a float tank, or I like going to a salt cave, or I like, just putting my feet in the creek, whatever it is, whatever like your happy place is, do that without any sort of external media at you, so that you can just be in your own head. And maybe that will help unearth the Pluto and Aquarius tension, or it'll help kind of unlock some things just by being a little bored. I started listening to Michael Pollan's new book about consciousness, and that's so much of it is just like, we have so much capacity in our brains, but we also distract ourselves with so many things. With Uranus going into Gemini, I feel like a way to really enjoy Uranus and Gemini is to actively work on not distracting ourselves with just BS so that we can like really have fun with all of the brilliance that Uranus and Gemini will be able to bring. But currently we are experts at distracting ourselves with just a bunch of stuff that we do not care about. So, this day, this square and the previous square is like, do what helps relax you so that you can then be agitated in like a almost like a subconscious way to have that revelation with Mercury-Pluto contact.
Yeah, and it's making that contact just before Pluto goes retrograde. I was just thinking that too.
Like the same day or the next day, yeah.
The next day. It's but it's like 5 p.m. May 5th, and then some like 5:30 and then 10:30 a.m. So it's not 24 hours, let me put it that way. It's very soon after that. And so Pluto's stationing. It's not going to move, up until then. So that to me is also like a wink, to be paying attention to those degrees at the fixed signs, I think.
Yeah, because it might, when especially a planet like Pluto that moves so slowly anyway, just to retrograde or station on a particular degree, if you have an early degree, especially 5-degree fixed placement, that Pluto Mercury point of contact is, is really going to be spoken to. It's like kind of like tapping this file on your desk, like this is what we're going to be talking about while Pluto is retrograde, because it's, it kind of highlights a little bit of that degree. Yeah. And then Pluto's going to be retrograde for how many months? I mean, it usually takes
6, like a half, isn't it? Let's see. Yep, October. So it'll be,
5 months.
Go direct at 3 degrees. Yeah. So that brings me to, we have some sextiles, but one thing I wanted to look at was how long this is away. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So May 9th, this is something I don't have on the calendar, but May 9th, Saturn moves into, it's going to be moving into the second decan. Would you call the 10th degree the second decan? Yeah. Or is that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 0 to 9:59. Yeah.
Yeah. While I was making my calendar, I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, Saturn hasn't been at this decan yet. And here we are.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about the second decan of Aries, Christa?
The middle decan of Aries, it's ruled by the sun, and this is where the sun exalts. And it is all about like governance, like governing. If you imagine the first decan of Aries is like, really slashing through the jungle with your machete to make way to this new place that you are establishing. And then now that you have established camp, it's like, now what are you going to do with it? So it really, Saturn being here is like, these are the limits that we have around what are we governing in this Aries part of your life. So it's like kind of the make or break point of whatever change is happening in Aries. This is the time for Saturn to be in this decan. It speaks to, how are you going to function and manage all of this now? Like, this is where, this is what you fought for. The reason you fought so hard through Aries, even through the end of Pisces into the first of Aries, like, now what are you going to do with it? It's like establishing your dominion, your world. So like for you, it's your 10th house. It's like, what are you actually going to be doing in this 10th house space? How are you going to be managing it? How are you going to put up the boundaries of your limits, your time limits, your personal limits? Like what are these things? How are you going to fortify your career piece? Like, this is like kind of where the real serious work is held. Then when it goes into the last one, then it's like about the ritual and the beauty, and it's a more fun and exotic sort of story. But like this middle decan is like, this is the adulting section of Aries.
That's the degree of my midheaven. Yeah. I love that because it's very true for me. I mean, extremely.
And you're like, it's like looking forward to it. It's like, I'm ready to like plant my flag, like I'm just ready to call this my own. And what does it mean to call it your own? So for your Aries part of your chart, you just look at kind of like what needs some growing up, what needs some seriousness. And that involves a lot of really hard decisions. It's not easy. Saturn is not happy here. But it does not mean that you can't get something really, I hate to say it, productive from it. I really do. It is like a real beautifully serious, fortified, empowered place. But Saturn just has a hard time here. Saturn is in the sun's exaltation and the sun's decan. It's opposite its exaltation decan, like it likes to be exactly on the other side of the sky. So it is as far from its exalted place as it can be. So it's not necessarily easy for Saturn. But I think that helps fortify Saturn anyway, by just making Saturn work harder. So,
yeah, that's a good point. And I mean, luckily we've got Mars still in Aries. Yeah, that might be something you think about May 9th. If there's seems to be a shift in wherever that degree is in your chart. You'll know why now. Okay, so I was going to look at the calendar, and I know just to say, okay, May 9th, that's Saturn moving to the 10th degree. Then we had some sextiles here. So let me look at what the first one was, because it's all building up to the Mercury cazimi.
There's Sun sextile Jupiter on the 10th. That's Sunday.
Okay.
And then Mercury sextile Jupiter on the 13th.
Sun sextile, what'd you say? Sun sextile Jupiter?
Sun sextile Jupiter, yeah. And then Mercury, Jupiter.
Then Mercury. Okay. So, and that's how you can tell they're getting close to cazimi. So I love that they both do that before. Sextiles are really nice. I love those aspects because they're not so,
they're chances.
They're just,
They're like chances you can catch.
Yeah. It's like it's the undercurrent more than like this very, I can tell this is happening thing. Sextiles are just kind of subtle, so.
It's like you're at like a fancy cocktail party and like someone comes by with like some hors d'oeuvres or some champagne, and like you can take one if you want. You don't have to, but it will keep going and it'll go by really quick. So just, you got to be ready for a sextile. It's not gonna hang around and like force feed you. It's just gonna waft past you. And if you're primed for it, then you get to take it.
Yeah, there's opportunity on these couple of days. And I love that, especially because the moon's in Pisces, at least for the first one. I need to check the second one. But that's wonderful for Jupiter.
It might be in Taurus.
So Mercury, let's see. It's in Aries for Mercury sextile Jupiter. But that's kind of appropriate for Mercury, I think. Mercury and Venus are still in mutual reception too. So these 2 days, the 10th and 12th, are little winks, little opportunities for you to take, So the first one I think is really cool because the sun being in Pisces. The second one's a little more active. This one's a little more opportunistic, So just
my birthday's in between these, and so I knew I had an Aries moon for my birthday, so I thought maybe it had moved on to Taurus, but no, it's right there for that Mercury Jupiter.
Happy early birthday!
Thank you.
If you love Christa, book a session with her and visit her website. It's her birthday month. So after that, you do?
Yeah, I'm a birthday person.
Are you a birthday person?
I love birthdays.
I do too. I love making a big deal about them too.
Mm-hmm.
Sun conjunct sun. That would never happen.
It's like cancel, clear the universe.
Oh, I saw today. This is actually a perfect Cazimi story for today. It's a news story. So sunspots on the sun, usually one part of it's like the south part of the sunspot, because there's usually like a blob, right? It's a couple of different blobs that sunspot is. I think it's the south part is supposed to trail the larger north part, and there's like some physics behind this. But today, the north larger one is leading, and that's like supposed to not be possible. So I was like, wow, okay, that's kind of a Mercury Cazimi sort of news story. A message from the sun.
Wow. I heard somebody talking about like the Truman Show, talking about the Truman Show, and just how like maybe that'll be kind of like our breakthrough in reality with Uranus and Gemini, is like having our own Truman Show moment. But then they mentioned like the name is like, he's a true man. And I never like put that together. It's like, oh, wow.
I haven't either. That blows my mind a little bit.
It makes me want to watch it again and just like look at it through an astrological perspective,
Yeah.
Because I keep going back to that Uranus. It's like it's about breaking through something, and we break through something, and then all these other things start to just fall into place and have different sorts of meaning because of our breakthrough, because of our illumination or our enlightenment, So it's like I'm looking forward to all these just to see how we experience them, especially Mercury contact, after Uranus has gone into Gemini.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. One of the biggest deals is to me is that Uranus is not there. This is the first Cazimi we have in Taurus with no Uranus in like 8 years. So it's that's a really cool moment. It's almost maybe a little bit of a relief, a little bit of like, you had to redo your whole garden because it was infested with this fungus, and it took you so much time, and it's finally done and you can enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah.
It feels enjoyable. I do like that. I like that Venus, the moon is coming into a sextile with Venus during that time. So is Mars, or Venus rather is coming into a sextile with Mars. And that part of it seems copacetic to me, that Venus and Mercury are in mutual reception while it's Cazimi, and then Venus is sextile Mars. So, I like this.
It's just nice to see when it starts to break up, after we have pileups, and then the faster moving planets kind of go ahead. I mean, Venus has just been just so super, super fast. And the Mercury too is going to go super fast. It'll slow down as soon as it hits June, but the speed here, all breaking away from that Pisces cluster. And even there was like a big Capricorn cluster, a big Aquarius cluster, a Pisces cluster, a Taurus cluster, or Aries. There won't be that big Taurus cluster because Uranus will be gone and Neptune and Saturn are going to be in Aries for a while. But just having these big packed houses, and now as the spring happens, they just start to kind of separate, and then they can engage in different ways. They're not just like all merged together in this big, like, crazy gumball of like one sign, like they're different morsels.
Oh, that's so true. I'm very much looking forward to May for that reason, because big pileups, especially in cardinal signs, they can be so uncomfortable. Yeah. Exhausting is a good word, because the last one, 2019, was in Capricorn when it was all like that, like the end of 2019, I think.
Yeah.
And this was the first one we've had similar in a cardinal sign. And I'm looking forward to, like, even this day, I'm looking forward to the moon getting out of Aries. Like, get out of there. Hurry up and get out of there.
Shoot.
Okay. So that's a good day. So that's why I have the flower there. The Mercury Cazimi in Taurus on May 14th. And then the new moon in Taurus. Yep. And it might sound crazy because it says the moon's in Gemini, but that's because it just changes. It just changes. Of course it does. So let's look at that new moon. Oh, go back. There we go. 25 degrees of Taurus. Again, first new moon since Uranus has been out of there. So if you'll notice, there's not any like huge squares going on. Venus is almost exactly sextile Mars at this point. Mercury's still in Taurus. This, again, I keep getting copacetic. This is just after the Mars Chiron, though. That's the only part of me that I'm getting stuck on. But I do like Venus sextile it. So it's almost like the, you've ripped the Band-Aid off and you've put the salve on with Mars Chiron. But the new moon in Taurus just feels like I'm ready to take care of myself, relax. I want to enjoy, I don't know, like my comfy blanket, and I want to sit in the sun and bathe in the sunlight kind of thing. New moons are always, I always expect them to be quiet. I do think this one will be kind of quiet because there's no big intense transits other than that going on.
Yeah, and just like Mercury having freshly Cazimi'd, it's combust, but it will become visible soon as it gets further away from the sun, once it gets into Gemini. So there's something about like this newly exfoliated Mercury with the new moon. It's like the moon and Mercury are both kind of just getting this refresh, as they prepare to kind of both move pretty quickly into Gemini season. I like this as like kind of closing out Taurus season and what do you want to prepare for, with, the full moon in Taurus and Scorpio season, so 6 months from now. But then also around then, you're going to have Mercury retrograding in the water sign. So we're going to have this, probably these degrees touched on. Can we look at the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio season? What
and there's a Venus retrograde dates there. Isn't there Venus in Scorpio too? Venus retrograde.
Let's look.
Oh yeah, October 3rd for that, and then earlier. Mercury retrograde. It's at the early degrees, but Mercury retrograde is at 20.
20, yeah. So 5 degrees from it.
Yeah, it's that's definitely gonna. And Jupiter is at 23 Leo with the South Node, or getting close to the South Node. So yeah, that's definitely going to tie into that period of time. So you might think about if you have any plans, and if you don't, just kind of make a mental note about what you're starting or what you feel like you want to do, because this is the first Taurus season we'll have. And it's not even the full Taurus season, but a lot of it without Uranus in Taurus. So it opens up, it really is this fertile ground that has just been tilled almost,
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. And of course there's a Mercury retrograde in Cancer too, like we said, it's the water signs. But that's not till June. So let's go back to this.
Yeah, I was just curious, like with that Cazimi and then that new moon with that freshly Cazimi'd Mercury, is it going to speak to some subjects of the Scorpio retrogrades, with Venus and Mercury? Are we going to get some, is part of what we desire and what we plan for and what we seek and what we seed in this new moon Cazimi time going to play into that story that happens 6 months from now, because it brings in Venus, which is the ruler of Taurus, and then it brings in this Cazimi with Mercury. And just thinking about the lunar cycle, you can think of it in a month cycle, you can think of it in an 18-month cycle, 18-year cycle, all these, you can exponentially find these cycles, but the 6-month one is one that you can kind of plan for a little bit longer, bigger ideas, because in 6 months' time, you can really see a huge portion of your life develop or shift or, change or go away, whatever you want. With Scorpio, sometimes it is just like editing away. So I just wonder if we'll get hints of that in Taurus season of what we're going to be dealing with in October, November.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting way ahead of myself right now.
No, I do. I'm actually thinking it's not a bad idea to write down some intentions during this new moon because Mercury's there and, it's going to go, so if you don't have any plans, be thinking about what you want to be doing in October. I think being intentional about this one is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Moon. Yeah. I mean, the moon likes to be in Taurus and, yeah.
All right. Let's go back to the calendar. Yeah, I think that's why I have it holding your heart on that one.
It's so funny. That whole last week is just so easy, plodding, gentle. And then it's like, Gemini season that next week, Mercury into Gemini with Uranus and then Venus into Cancer, Mercury trine Pluto and the sun going into Gemini and the sun conjoining Uranus. It's just like, it stacks up quick.
It really does. It really does. I think I left something on there on accident. Venus sextile Neptune. That's not happening. I'll delete that before I publish it. Yeah. So Mercury enters Gemini and then the same day immediately conjoins Uranus. So let's look at that. It is like bam, bam. Here we go. So it enters May 17th at 5:26 a.m. and then conjoins Uranus at 7:10 p.m. with the moon. Oh, that's right. The moon's there too. Okay, so the moon hits Uranus first. That's going to be like if you're someone who likes to, I like to witness astrology, I like to be active in it. And if I know that day, the moon's going to hit Uranus at 11:10 p.m. Saturday. And then the next morning, Mercury is going to enter Gemini and hit Uranus. I'm going to be watching everything to do with Gemini shenanigans, communication, information, gossip. And with Uranus, gossip, absolutely. Spilling the tea or whatever. And then Uranus being, we've been talking about disclosure and AI and robots. And now, the craziest stories are coming out. And Uranus is not even in Gemini. And while we're recording this, and I'm already seeing the most insane things. What's that one podcaster? I can't remember what his name is, but he claims Sam Altman is summoning a Sumerian demon through AI.
Wow.
What? You couldn't have uttered that phrase 10 years ago without them putting you in a psych ward. It just would have not been possible. So that day,
that's when the Sumerian demon lands.
Oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah, we're laughing now, but watch us.
I would venture to say it's more dangerous when we laugh like that at a transit than when we're like, oh, that transit doesn't look good. If we laugh like this at a transit, it's going to be insane, probably.
It means that we have a body knowing of some sort of chaos that is the only way for it to come out is bubble out at laughter. Just a little, maybe astrology gallows humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to a few people recently about this Uranus and Gemini transit, and the thing that kind of floats to the top for me is there's going to be these outrageous or unexpected, innovative kind of expressions of communication and technology that just arrive. They just appear. They just apparate. And to me, that's the exciting piece of it. It's what are we going to get revealed to us? And is it going to be personal or is it going to be collective? It'll be both, especially if you have those very, very early degrees Gemini, you might have that personal transponder to receive that sort of, finger on your own natal chart. But I think it'll be exciting and shiny and noticeable and chatty and talked about, especially with the moon there, just like, it'll be visible. The moon will be visible, but this will be just a little crescent. And, I'm.
Yeah. I like that Venus is still in Gemini too. It's giving it that kind of almost lucky flair, like it just feels a little lucky, a little more shiny even. Yeah, I like the word shiny. The only thing that gives me pause is Mars at the anaretic degree of Aries, and that's something that has been a thing every time it's happened.
Although we had the sun at the anaretic while the malefics were coming together, and there was not like this big worrisome thing that happened that at least we're aware of as of this recording. So, I mean, like sometimes this transit can just go by and like the worst case scenario, it doesn't happen, and not like you and I fearmonger at all. Like we talk about things and we consider it, but we're not like sensational astrologers. But we do also recognize that astrology happens in all sorts of crazy ways. Mars at the anaretic versus the sun at the anaretic, we'll see the difference of those two. But I was like legit worried about Mars or about the sun at the anaretic. With the
I did have some personal things. Yeah. So as it wasn't the collective kind of thing that I thought it might be. It was definitely personal, especially interestingly where my Aries is 10th house, the opposite of that is 4th house, home and family. And my teenage daughter acted up in a way that she had the cops called on her.
True. Yeah.
And you could not get a more Mars Saturn malefic moment than that, than
the police at your house.
She wasn't doing something horrible, but thank God it wasn't something really bad. But it's bad enough that cops even drive by your house. You don't want them coming there for any reason. So as far as that conjunction went, that I kind of was watching it the whole day, and I was like, actually, I was kind of trying to ignore it, but it happened. You can't run away from a transit. That's what I say all the time. Because I told Christa before we went camping, I was like, you can't run away from a transit, but I'm going to
go run away.
And a phone call, half asleep in a tent, because your daughter's being crazy. It was not. You couldn't run from it. So good.
Maybe. I mean, I had some good personal, astrology good moments of that last degree. I'm in a solar year, and so that Aries is my 6th house of just like work, and the very last day that the sun was in my 6th house. And that last second of Aries is about like so much of it is about ritual and ceremony and like combining things together so that, in closure and openings and all that sort of ceremonial stuff. And I went to a funeral service and a grand reopening, both of I was connected to through work that now I am not connected to anymore. So it was like a symbolic ending of that work. The ending itself is great for me, but it was still kind of melancholic and it was very loud just in my own personal chart. I guess I was expecting it to be more mundane, like to see it more in the bigger picture, to see it in the news. And there were some pretty horrible stories of violence that I don't even want to repeat because I read it and it was just so heartbreaking, but like some real incredible violence that happened. But it was just like these really slivers of humanity and not like a big, it wasn't a nuclear bomb or it wasn't an invasion of another country. It wasn't like something like big like that. But so I also felt it personally, but it was like, it just felt a more, and maybe that's like that Mars and Aries is like a very precise sort of severance, a very precise sort of activity. And
cutting knife, right?
That cutting knife. Yeah. It wasn't just crazy machete in the jungle sort of like craziness. It was like a scalpel, Yeah,
I agree. And so that day, that's kind of the lesson there. The reason we're talking about the malefic conjunction is because Mars is a malefic. They're still both in Aries, and Mars is at what's called a degree of crisis. But what did you call it again? The last
crossroads.
time we talked? Crossroads. Yeah. This one, because you've got Mercury going into, I don't know, this duality sign, I feel like it's going to maybe Well, and Venus being very close to a sextile with Mars, it almost softened the indirect degree. Plus, Mars has already met up with Chiron. Likely, whatever's going on at the 29th degree of Aries has a little bit to do with what happened the day before when it could join Chiron, So it's got that about it. But I'm trying to think of what I'm doing on this day. I'm like, what am I even doing? Because I want to know what I'm doing on this day. Playing a show the night before. And I'm going to be watching Sunday. It's a Sunday. So, All right, let's see what's going on here. What do we got? We got Mercury. Oh, Venus enters Cancer. That's right. That's the next thing.
Yay.
So I know that's going to be nice on the heels of this. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank goodness. Let's get it. Let's get Venus in Cancer. Here we go. May 18th. So it's a Monday. And Venus and Jupiter, which are both benefics, are now co-present in the same sign. So we just
the
have
moon will
benefics.
follow it super, super quickly too. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mars enters Taurus too. So I guess Mars enters Taurus first and the moon enters Cancer right after Venus. So it's like, man, that's like ingress city. Hold on, we'll see. Mars enters Taurus at 5:25 p.m. They're less than 3 hours apart. Mars enters, then Venus enters, and then the moon enters. Venus enters Cancer at 8:05 p.m. and the moon enters Cancer at 8:46 p.m. So wow. Boom, boom, boom. Life is different. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, you can just see how it is just like spreading out. It is kind of evening out and bringing like that really lucky, blessed, benefic energy to the Cancer house. Having the moon at home, having Venus and Jupiter exalted. Yeah.
I agree.
And then not having Mars caught up. Not having Mars square it either. Mars is in a sextile, which is the nature of Venus, Yeah. We've got a square from Neptune and Saturn, but Venus and the moon are going to move through it pretty quickly. So we do have that, but I kind of like that Mars is out of Aries, so it's not getting the square from both malefics, that Cancer house.
Yeah, and then they'll sextile just right after that. So it's like, the reason I say boom, 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 new life is because I think having both malefics in Aries was really not fun, obviously.
With the sun there too. Yeah.
With the sun there. And it's almost like this is the shift we all are looking forward to. Like we need this shift pretty bad. Mars and Taurus is very slow, steady, and methodical in the way it approaches things. Whereas in Aries, it's just like you run into the door. You don't care if you break it, that kind of a thing. And I mean, yes, Taurus is the bull, so there's all those phrases, that phrase about the bull in the china shop, but, which I
definitely
guess
slows Mars down. Yeah.
It slows it down. And Venus in Cancer is a lot slower than Venus in Gemini. And I don't mean the speed they're moving as a planet, but just the nature of the signs. So,
yeah.
And they sextile just after midnight. So 5:30 p.m. Mars moves in, somewhere around 8 Venus, then 8:45 the moon, then the sextile. It's just like all right there. So I think that Tuesday is really lucky, especially after the moon. When the moon hits Venus, I think that's going to be really, really cool. So, I mean, let's see. What can we say, people? It almost feels like it could be a good electional chart. I'm looking at Mercury at the bending is maybe a little weird, but maybe not, Yeah,
I mean, if you want to do things where you want Mars to be have a little less agency, I mean, what I would do is put Gemini on the ascendant. So you would have, Mercury in the first house, which it likes to be. You would have all, like both benefics and the moon and the second house. You would have Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron on the 11th, so it doesn't, and you have the North Node in the 10th. Like I would look at that, like put Uranus and Mercury, put Mercury, on the ascendant. It puts the Sun in the 12th. But it kind of tucks Mars away a little bit, and then it puts the benefics and the Moon at home there in that second house of skill to support whatever brilliant idea comes through with that Uranus and Mercury and Gemini in the first.
Yeah, there you go. So that May 19th, that's something to pay attention to. And then you've got, is it Mercury Pluto right after that? I think Mercury is squaring Pluto. Or
Mercury trines Pluto,
Trine.
yeah. Just before the Sun moves into Gemini.
There you go. And that's at 5:52 p.m. May 19th. So May 18th and 19th, actually May 17th, 18th, and 19th is like kind of a big chunk of time to watch, The Mercury square trine Pluto is, it's funny that I keep saying square because it's not square to it.
Yeah, they squared when it was in Taurus. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that. It's like the two, like how they kind of get clunky, and whatever clunkiness is smoothed out. This aspect is when it like that clunkiness really shows how much it's improved, how the flow of communication is improved. Similar to how we just keep talking on top of each other. So it's like how do we find the flow?
That's a great example, and I think that's the square almost viscerally feels clunky, and so it's almost like I can't even get out of the idea of that square, and I keep saying Mercury square when it's trine Pluto. So this is a time you almost or you can empower yourself really well with words during this day, I think. And it's related to the eclipse points, because it's at the bendings, like you get the bends when you dive. I don't know. I think that day is, or that transit specifically is probably not going to be as big of a thing. It's just going to be something, like you said, that smooths it out. And then the Sun enters Gemini. I
almost wonder if it's like the echo before, it's like the echo of communication before the Sun comes in. It's almost like you hear the heralding angels of Mercury ruled Sun going into Gemini with that Mercury Pluto. It's like it's almost like we get Gemini season a day early because of that speed and connection between those two air signs.
Yeah, that's a good point. And when the Sun moves into Gemini, I think and with Mercury there, it might feel a little more chaotic, like it's been, at least Mars is in Taurus, and not in Aries, but
yeah.
The chaos is very present here when the Sun moves into Gemini. Mercury being the ruler of Gemini and Uranus shaking it up. And anytime anything enters Gemini, it's going to hit Uranus. It's going to be either a surprise or a change or a freedom from something, or there's a lot of different words you can use for Uranus. But I don't really know what to expect of this Gemini season because of that. It's really hard for me to put my finger on it,
Yeah. I think we will all be surprised during this Gemini season with that Uranus transit. I mean, we had a little bit of this last year, but was it in Gemini when the Sun was in Gemini? Can we look and see when it went into Gemini last time? Because I think it might have been in Cancer.
Let's see. Okay.
Yeah. So it was Cancer season.
Yeah. And then it retrograded, and then April 25th, and then to now. Yeah. So, Sun, and that's what I was doing. Sun in Gemini.
I like that the Moon is just barely in Cancer too.
Yeah, and I just had a meeting with Jupiter. That is really nice.
There's Antisha with Mercury, Jupiter too there. I love that. A little secret connection.
Oh, the what now?
The Antisha between Mercury and Jupiter. There's like this little like secret, there's like a signal chat between Mercury and Jupiter.
That's perfect.
No one else can see and just disappears as soon as they type it.
I'm kind of also mulling over how Neptune is close to a square with Uranus here. and how
sextile.
Yeah, sextile.
It's squaring Venus, though. That's what you're seeing. Neptune and Venus are in a square.
Venus is squaring Neptune. Mercury will have just sextiled it. Uranus is almost sextile. So anytime the sun hits, anytime anything hits Uranus, right after it's going to sextile Neptune. And
trine Pluto.
And trine Pluto, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's getting hit by all those outers. Yeah.
It's almost like that mini grand trine, what they call it, a minor grand trine between Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And I've kind of looked forward to this. This is like when I was looking ahead, I don't know, like 10 years ago, looking at 2026, I was thinking it's going to be hard, but there's definitely going to be a renaissance. It feels very renaissance-y. So as much as it's hard to predict, I think Neptune's probably playing into that. Like it's not really clear. And I think Uranus and Neptune together are huge tricksters. Like this trickster energy is going to be through the roof for this Gemini season. So May the 20th be with you also,
It's Mercury's Day.
I love it. And then
happy Gemini season. I think it's going to be entertaining.
There you go. Because the sun conjoins Uranus the 22nd. Mercury's at 11, sextile Saturn that day.
Yeah.
So it's just Venus square Neptune is the biggest square we've got going.
Yeah, Mars is moving into that square to Pluto. That's the one that I'm kind of looking as it creeps.
That's true.
It's like Pluto is trining all that Uranus, Sun, Mercury, but then it's also squaring Mars. Like I'm looking at, it's like there's a drama that is slowly building with that Mars. The Mercury square Pluto will be one thing. The Mars square Pluto is a different story.
Yeah. I was looking at the speeds. Mars is moving 44 minutes a day at this point. Venus is moving 1 degree, 11 minutes. And Mercury is moving 2 degrees a day at this point.
Yeah, Mercury's in Gemini for 15 days, 14 days, something like that.
It's very fast. Yeah. And I do think that, that's a good way to put it. I think the Mars square Pluto is going to sneak on up. So you have the sun with Uranus. I think this day, again, it's more like watch and see. I think this is more of that entertaining. I don't know what to expect. Definitely look at where Gemini is in your chart. Where's it at for you, Christa?
8th. So who knows?
So my 12th. I know. I'm like, just go ahead and put me in the psych ward. That's fine.
Yeah.
Second time I've talked about that. I don't even know if that's politically correct anymore. Sorry if it's not.
Oh. Yeah, loony bin, I think is the correct term. Just kidding.
That's the day I launched my comedian career. Yeah.
With a Uranus Sun conjunction in my 8th, like I'm gonna carve out time to meditate, like make an active effort to meditate, because meditation isn't controlling the mind. It is like just letting the mind be still enough and with less distractions so that things can land, and just to see what lands. Because I like Uranus and the Sun together in an air sign, and Gemini with Mercury there. Like that's like I can't wait for whatever lightning brilliance happens to come through, and to just try to keep, unnecessary gossip at bay, because I think that can also be like a real quick way to just like be chatty, unnecessarily chatty. It's like I'd rather receive, since it's my 8th house. There's a sense of surrendering, to those liminal houses. So I will surrender in meditation to see what sort of enlightening moment comes through the Sun and Uranus on that night or that morning.
I think if you look at what house it's in for you, it's going to help you direct it. It's in my 12th, and it's that's the day before my daughter's graduation party, the day after her graduation. It's close to a trine with my Venus in my 4th house, so it makes a lot of sense. I'll be doing some inner work probably with, my oldest child leaving the house, or essentially leaving the house. She won't be leaving it right then, but so it's really
I would walk
cool.
around a bookstore. I would just go to a different part of town that you usually don't go to and be a little anonymous, be that 12th houser, and just walk around a bookstore or a library and just be like, what sort of enlightened, lucky moment is going to come through as I'm surrounded with all of this wisdom,
Yeah. Yeah. And another important thing, I think, is Venus trying the North Node here too, because the nodes won't be in Pisces, Virgo very much longer. I can't remember when they move. Is it June or July, maybe?
I don't remember, actually. I should know.
I know I should know too. Let's see, the North Node will be at 29. Well, let's just go with 0 Pisces. It'll help. So, okay, it'll be probably early August then. Oh, no, late July 27th.
Yeah.
So
with that Sun-Jupiter conjunction.
Yes, Jupiter's going to be moving into Leo. There's more this year to come that's just wildly different. And I love this because this chart in July is like way more spread out. There's a lot more going on, but that means in a way, things are more balanced because you do have all these pieces moving, and that's like normal life. What's not normal life is to feel overwhelmed by one huge thing, which is what it's kind of felt like with all the things kind of bunched up. But the eclipses have been, at this point, they would have been in Pisces, Virgo for 18 months. So to have
we have another one now. Don't we have one more next spring? Yeah. So we're not quite done.
No, but the nodes have moved.
The nodes have, so yeah.
And that's what I was like, thinking with the Venus trine the North Node is like a last little kind of, what word do I want to use? I don't know, gift towards your destiny in Pisces, towards whatever the North Node's been bringing up for you, So, that's a crazy day of probably synchronicities. I think Sun Uranus is a very synchronistic sort of transit. Yeah. Venus North Node would be as well. I think that'll dominate.
Venus and North Node. If you think of the North Node as like, what are you hungry for? And then having Venus kind of give it support. It's like, what are you hungry for the things that you actually really deeply care about? Because Venus in Cancer really deeply cares. And so it might help just highlight or neon light exactly. Like this is, I definitely want to go this direction because I want to see change in this place, even if it's new to me, which is kind of a North Node thing. There's a little bit of trepidation with going towards, North Node, but you're hungry for it, but you just don't know it yet. All the myth of just like wanting to devour in that direction, even if you've never been there before. It's informed by that deeply caring Venus and the moon sign, Venus in her own decan, Venus conjoined, or at least co-present with the other benefic. It's like there's so much loving directive support connecting to that North Node desire. People talk about desire timelines as opposed to linear timelines, and this speaks to that desire timeline. Like, however long it takes me to get to this place, at least I know the direction that I want to go because I care about this thread, or I care about these parts of my life, and I'm going to do it because I feel like it's clear that there is a path, whatever that path takes. I don't know yet, but I just know I have the emotional desire to pursue it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's almost like you made me think of something funny. Like if the North Node's going, I want some applesauce. I want some applesauce. Venus gets into Cancer and goes, here's some applesauce.
Uh-huh.
I made it for you,
Shelby. Drink your juice.
Exactly. Oh, so the next thing is Mars square Pluto. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to share my emoji because it's the
Luchadera.
What do you call it?
Luchadera.
Yeah,
Luchadero.
that's it. Yeah. Those masks. That's what this one reminds me of, especially in Taurus. I don't know, especially what is the movie Jack Black did where he, like, didn't he have a movie where he dressed up like that or something?
Yeah, what was it? A friend of ours has a company where they make college colors. So we have a bunch of Alabama luchadora masks.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding?
No, I will send you some pictures.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Luchadora, that's what it is.
Luchadora.
It's Nacho Libre. That's the name.
Nacho Libre. Yeah. That's the one. Well, I was thinking about how, because Pluto gets such a heavy vibe put to it, so does Mars. Mars gets this very malefic, but I think they can both be goofy sometimes, when they want to be. And something about Mars and Taurus, square Pluto and Aquarius made me feel like goofy wrestling, like performative or something, maybe it's because it's a fixed sign. But I do think of a Mars square Pluto as like a tug of war, a wrestling match. It's trying to make its way from when did it conjoin Pluto? Let's look at that. Mars conjunct Pluto was January 27th. That's right. We had a bunch of stuff in Aquarius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this time period, you might look around January to see what was going on, January 27th, around that time, because Mars square Pluto will be bringing that theme up, but from the Taurus house. So, I wonder what I was doing. But yeah, you might feel like there's something that you might discover a place that you feel disempowered. I think it's Pluto deals so much with personal empowerment, I think, and just power in general. I mean, if you're talking about what the archetype of Pluto is, but Mars going up against it when Pluto has the upper hand is that probably will just reveal any problems, if there are any, to do with Pluto and Aquarius,
Yeah, and Mars likes to fight for and defend, and it's connected to Venus and a sextile over there in Cancer, so it does have some support. It doesn't necessarily, it's like a problem to deal with, and depending on how open you are to doing some internal work, because Mars is going to challenge that, and Pluto is, it's, if you have like a stack of boxes in your basement that you have just decided not to unpack for years, what's inside it isn't there to harm you. It's just your ignorance to not want to face it or deal with it or throw it away or give it or donate it or whatever. So this moment could be like just going through and being like, I'm just going to deal with this. Mars compels us to overcome these things that feel like they're just pressure. And if you open them up and you're like, oh, it's just like plastic potting plants, like I can just recycle these. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. Or it's my mom's baby book and she died and now I'm overwhelmed with all this regret or whatever it is. It's like what the artifacts themselves are not causing you the problem. It's like your ability to just face it. And Mars really asks us to face that. Pluto is there just curating and fermenting all of those artifacts, because the longer we don't deal with them, the more they feel like they have power over us. So I think that's that agency piece you were talking about. Yeah. And within the area, the Aquarius Taurus, angle, that pressure is there. And this kind of aspect kind of asks us to help break it up a little bit, because it's going to oppose Mars. When Mars is in Leo, we haven't dealt with it now. It's going to be way harder to deal with it in a couple months.
Oh yeah,
when it opposes it.
I was thinking the same thing. Let's look at when that happens, just to make it complete. Yeah, so that's October 3rd, and so this month basically is really beckoning us towards kind of the fall winter time period and things that's going to come up. A lot of times it does, just because of the nature of the sun and moon. But Venus and Venus and Mercury are going to be in Scorpio. They're going to be retrograde. Venus is already retrograde, so it brings that new moon in Taurus up too. So what we do now is like will affect or inform what happens later on in the fall. And that is a T-square. That is a huge T-square with Mercury and Venus being so close by. So Yeah. I think the best thing to say is pay attention to this one. Pay attention because it's going to come back up. So you want to be well prepared, you know. And then you have Venus square Saturn after this. So this last week is like, that's how I feel about it. My emoji was just kind of like pouty lip because that's what it feels like. Like, no, you can't have it, you know. Or, you know, I could see a situation here where Saturn wants you to be the authority in some situation and Venus doesn't want to hurt someone's feelings, you know. So it's another opening square, another tug of war. When did Venus? Like, this is a bunch of opening squares this month, and that's something else that I'm
Were they
starting
in Pisces?
Yep.
No.
2 degrees of Aries, and that was March.
I don't even remember that.
I mean, me either, really.
I think because we were looking at Neptune and Saturn together, like I just totally blocked out of my memory that Venus was also conjoined it.
Yeah, that was around the time.
It was years ago.
It feels like it. I know, like my husband took a whole new job around that time. I was like, oh gosh, what is life anymore? You know, so that's how that felt. So this is like, okay, that happened. Now what are you going to do with it? You know, in the Cancer area. So think back to March. It's going to relate to this May 28th time period. And Venus will oppose Saturn in August. So, yeah, it doesn't do it twice, does it? No.
Is that right around the eclipse?
It looks like it. Where is let's see, any eclipse? August 12th and August 27th. So it's right in between. Yeah. Yeah. So this is another one of those, like, pay attention now so that you'll be prepared for August. You know, Venus here, I don't feel like it's too, you know, I don't feel like it's going to be too harshly treated by Saturn here. I just don't, I don't look at that one as crazy as maybe Mars square Pluto, but it's going to add to it. It might feel a little heavy that week, you know? But luckily, the next thing we have on our list is the full moon. In Sagittarius, this one's good.
Yeah.
This one's good. Venus is past the square to Saturn. Mars is past the square to Pluto. The Sun is past the square to Pluto, trine to Pluto. See, I did it again. In my mind, everything squares Pluto all the time.
Square. It's also kind of nice because, like, after we don't have these longer planets transiting through Sagittarius, so now it's just during Sag season when all the quickly moving planets go through. But the rest of the year, it's very quiet, and so to have the full moon here in Sag is like getting kind of like a really fun visitor that only comes every couple of months. And so it's just like, this is just party time, and then you can fill it in on all of the drama that's happening with how you're saying how when all the planets congregate in one sign, when they get split up, it kind of balances it out. But they also talk to each other a lot more. And so you get that chatter. And so all that chatter creates drama. And then we can share all that drama with each other on this Sag full moon at the end of May.
Yeah, there's a lot at 9 too. Mars is at 9, the Sun is at 9, the Moon is at 9, which just stuck out to me. Yeah, so the Moon has also just sextiled Pluto. You know, I love this full moon. It feels good. It feels like there's not much working against us, you know.
Yeah, it might just be a little hopeful. You know, that's the jovial nature of Jupiterian signs is hope and using your imagination for good. And this is always annually, I always make Florida water, which is just flower water with the flowers in my garden. It's like a real hopeful, joyous capturing of just the beauty and the that limitation of time. There's something just like bittersweet about flowers, because they bloom and they're beautiful and then they die. And so flower water, Florida water is like a way just to like capture that kind of ineffable moment of a bloom, so that you can kind of carry that good luck. And that full moon is just always the time that I choose to make it.
So this is a great opportunity to read the Sabian symbol. I love it for the full moon at 9. It's a theatrical representation of a golden-haired goddess of opportunity.
Ooh.
And I love it. The very ends. Well, the keynote says society's efforts at dramatizing the greatness of what it offers to the ambitious person. But the very end of it says the result is often a process of forced growth. And when you were saying bloom and things like that, I was thinking, yeah. And 9 is a Sagittarius number. 9 is it's the 9th house, the 9th sign. I love it.
Yeah, this decan too, that Mercury ruled decan, it's called the Lord of Swiftness, and the tarot card for it just shows like 8 wands going in a direction. And Susan Chang sells these on her Etsy, but she makes these little luggage tags that that she makes and like laminates and puts a clasp on it, and it just has the image of that tag, and then you put your information on the other side. And so a friend of ours, Sonia, got one for me for my birthday, and I've put it on my luggage, and it just like ensures that your bag goes through quickly and that it doesn't get lost. It has this like really playful, swift, traveling, mercurial and Jupiterian energy about it. And so I absolutely love that we get it. It's 9 degrees, 55 minutes. So, 6 more arc minutes and it's in the next degree. And so I like that we get the full moon just right there at the very end, because this is my lot of spirit is in this decan. Like I absolutely love this place in the zodiac. So I like that the full moon is here.
That's my Uranus. Well, Uranus at 8, but that's close enough. So we'll see what's going on with me on that's the weekend after Memorial Day. And then I love too that Jupiter and the moon are in, again, mutual reception, and it feels abundant.
Yeah. Venus is there too with Jupiter. They're going to have one more conjunction before Jupiter leaves its exalted sign. I like that they're going to close out their cycle with a conjunction at the end of Cancer.
I think every podcast we've done, every month ahead we've looked at the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. So I'm just going to do it again.
Yeah.
It comes very soon after this.
Consistent.
That's right. We have to be.
Yeah. I know so many people born on June 9th. It's funny. This is just a really sweet day.
So yeah, good things to come. That's going to be a really good day. So if there is any stress this last week of May, there might be, then we can look forward to June 9th,
Yeah, May is going to be, I think, classic Taurus Gemini. The first part, very classically Taurus. And we're going to ping all like the stubbornness with the squares, and then the conjunctions and with the cazimis, and we're going to have like togetherness and stubbornness, and then we're going to hit Gemini, and it's just going to be change. So it just feels like very on point season for both Taurus and Gemini this year. Yeah,
I agree, and I feel like I'm looking forward to the most probably to the full moon in Sag, but I do like the Mercury Cazimi in Taurus. Yeah. I do like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too, just because Uranus is gone. It's not there. So I'm looking forward to that moment without Uranus there, but I absolutely love Venus in Cancer season. So that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. Yeah. What a crazy month. It's going to be, pretty crazy.
Yeah. Nothing compared to later in the summer.
I know.
I like this one. This seems reasonable.
It does seem reasonable comparatively. Yeah. I was looking at the transits, because I have a list of them. And I was just like, when I first looked at May, I was like, wow, that's really full. But then I kind of looked forward. I was like, fullness doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Jupiter entering Leo July is really insane.
Yeah.
And then it gets kind of insane again in the fall to October, November. So yeah, despite all the opening squares and things of that nature, I think you should try to enjoy this month,
Yeah.
Yeah. There could be bigger things to stress about. So enjoy your May.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. Let us know what your favorite May date coming up is going to be. I chose Venus in Cancer. You chose the full moon. So let us know what you want. And let us know if you're a Taurus or Gemini and it's your birthday month, then we can all celebrate. Because I love
right. It's birthday month. It's like my opposite birthday month, so I'll celebrate with you.
It's like the Alice in Wonderland, like a very merry unbirthday to you. It's like your unbirthday season,
It is. It's my birthday. We're going to have a tea party. A Zoom one. Oh, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Check us out. I'm at ecstaticastrology.com and ecstatic astro or astrology on all the social platforms. And Christa is practicalastros.com and the same on all the socials.
Yep. Come join over on Substack doing the Deck and Walk. It's free. And if you are paid, then you are part of the Deck and Dream class that I'm teaching all year long. It's 1 month or one class a month, and it's recorded. So if you miss it live, you can watch the recording. But it's all about learning how to lucid dream, which I think that lucid dreaming and like astral projection and psychedelic use and all that is going to be a part of this Uranus and Gemini transit. It's kind of why I wanted to teach people, that kind of the entryway of just like learning how to look at your dreams and lucid dream and active dream. And, there's so much astrological historical record of doing this, so we can do it now, but that's over at the Deck and Walk on Substack. But Practical Astro is pretty much everywhere else. And, thanks again, Mandi, for joining me for another month forecast.
Thank you very much. You guys like, share, and subscribe and follow us. We will see you in June.